Welcome back, Techies. This is Mr. Techie here, and today we are talking about the Samsung Unpacked 2020 event. Samsung showed us lots of new things today, including the Galaxy Z Fold 3, Z Flip 3. Yep, you heard that right. They skipped a 2. Galaxy Buds 2. Yes, they reverted back to 2 after the Live and the Pro. And last, but certainly not least, the Galaxy Watch 4 and 4 Classic, replacing the Galaxy Watch 3 and Galaxy Active 2. So they're giving us tons to talk about. Now let's break them down one by one, talk about each of them, what each of them tells us about Samsung's views and vision for the future, and my impressions on them as Mr. Techie. First, Samsung started off by talking about their Galaxy Watch line. Arguably the biggest changes in the new Galaxy Watches are not the design updates or the health sensors, but rather the operating system itself. Now, in the early days of the Galaxy Watches, they ran Samsung's proprietary Tizen OS. Didn't last too long before they moved over to Wear OS and then back to Tizen OS. Now they're back to using Google Wear OS, and Google Wear OS in the last year or so has made some huge leaps and bounds to catch it up to its main competitor, the Apple Watch. Now that Galaxy Watches run Wear OS, they are much more compatible with Android than they were before, rather than just Galaxy devices. Now they have better access to Google Play Store apps. As Google updates Wear OS with new features and capabilities, so will the Galaxy Watches. And this is one of the biggest things that are coming out of Google and Samsung's newfound relationship. And we're going to see more of that in the Google Pixel 6. But more on that a little bit later this year. Along with the brand new OS on the watches, they both bring brand new user interface, making it a lot more user-friendly, much more visibly appealing than before. And with this latest generation of Galaxy Watches, Samsung is bringing their AKG monitor and their blood pressure monitoring to 30 more countries. So putting those great health features and health tracking sensors in the hands of more consumers around the world in more countries, definitely a great step forward. Great stuff there. Now, before today's updates to the Galaxy Watch in the previous generation was split into two. The Galaxy Watch 3, which was the higher end, premium, better looking Galaxy Watch with the rotating bezel and the larger sizes. And then the Active 2 was the sportier, smaller version, thinner, looked a lot more sporty in its color choices, and did not have a rotating bezel. For this generation, Samsung kept that similar philosophy, but changed up the naming a little bit. The Galaxy Active 2 has been replaced by the Galaxy Watch 3, which is a sportier version with no rotating bezel, sportier color options, 40 and a 44 size options, and colors being black, green, and silver, matching the colors of the Galaxy Z Fold 3. More on that a little bit later in the video. Now, for those of us who are looking for bigger, more premium, elegant looking watches, Samsung created the Galaxy Watch Classic 4. With this, we get two size options of 42 and 46 millimeter, so a little bit larger than the standard Galaxy Watch 4. We get only two color options of black and silver because they have both stainless steel. Rotating bezel, look very elegant, very premium, and really resembling a high-end premium timepiece rather than just a smartwatch. And now for years, if you've been following me on Twitter and Instagram, by the way, you should be, if you want to keep up with the latest tech news, you would know that for years I've said that the Galaxy Watches have looked immensely better than the Apple Watches. They look a lot more classy, more modern, more stylish, better looking. People who aren't techie but want a smartwatch and want one that looks more like a traditional timepiece, they would like the Galaxy Watches a lot more than the Apple Watches. And this generation is no exception. These are great looking watches, lots of great health features, both look very premium and stylish. I, for one, would go with the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic because I do enjoy a rotating bezel, but nevertheless, they are both great looking watches, great smart watches. They have a lot to offer. I'd recommend it to a lot of people. Now, pricing wise, Samsung really did price these really aggressively compared to the Apple Watch. So Samsung priced the Galaxy Watch 4 starting at $249.99 for the smaller version of them, $349 for the smaller version of the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic in the stainless steel version. So really competitive, especially compared to Apple's pricing of their stainless steel watches on the Series 6. Next up at Samsung Unpacked, Samsung talked all about the Galaxy Buds 2. Now, I don't know about you techies, but personally, the Galaxy Buds lineup have never really impressed me, nor have they ever been beloved by customers. You don't often hear people saying, I love my Galaxy Buds. They're convenient, they've gotten much better over the years, but they're not one of Samsung's best products. Personally, the only ones I've ever tried were the Buds Live, and they were fine. This battery life wasn't all that great. I didn't like how uncomfortable they were in the ear. I didn't like how it wasn't very easy just to put them in the case, just because of the shape of them. Active noise canceling was fine, wasn't all that good. For the money, you couldn't ask for much more. But from professional experience, at work, the Galaxy Buds original versions and the Buds Plus were often returned. Members weren't happy with them. They often went on sale. People bought them because of that, or because they had other Samsung products. But often complaints were battery life wasn't that good. Microphones were terrible. Active noise canceling wasn't very reliable. That's why for a while a lot of major retailers stopped carrying them in store. They're only available online, so they didn't take up inventory because they weren't selling very well. When they did sell, they were often returned. The Galaxy Buds Live sold alright. There weren't any major complaints about them, but just the look and feel and comfort of them wasn't all that there. The Buds Pro, I actually have 2 pairs in my room, unopened. Might just give them away or something, but no major complaints about them, honestly. I think those were the first pairs of Galaxy Buds that weren't really bad, that people didn't hate really. And then now we have the Galaxy Buds 2. So we went from Galaxy Buds Plus, Galaxy Buds Live, Galaxy Buds Pro, and then Galaxy Buds 2. So a little bit weird naming there. And aside from the buds themselves, honestly, compared to everything else that was really good in this event, this was the least interesting part of the whole event to me, really. I kind of zoned out a little bit of it. So from what I saw about it, improved noise canceling, better comfort, 4 color options to match the colors of the Flip and the Fold 3, just making it a little bit more on par with the AirPods and the Galaxy Buds and some of Sony and Bose offerings in the wireless front. But I'll put up the spec sheet and the infographic about them now. You guys take a look at them. Like I said, not much interest in them. There's nothing really comparing me to pick one of these up. And honestly, if you have an older pair of Galaxy Buds, or if you have a different pair like Bose or Sony Buds, honestly, these aren't really worth it. But they're $150, so you can't really complain about them that much. And now for the big boys, the 2 biggest products unveiled today. What most of us came to this video to watch. What I was personally most excited for in this entire event: the Galaxy Z Fold 3 and the Galaxy Z Flip 3. Now, before diving into what we saw in the Galaxy Z Fold 3, I want to share with you some of my expectations from this device based on numerous leaks and my complaints of the current Z Fold 2, which I was using on my daily driver for most of the past year or so. I was expecting water resistance. We heard lots of rumors about that. An S Pen, 100Hz on an outer display, and finally from Samsung, an under-display camera. All those things that I complained about in my review of the Galaxy Z Fold 2. They deliver all of them. Durability is better, more reliable hinge, the 120Hz on the outer display, the water and dust resistance, IPX8, not 68. More about that in a little bit. And even though they delivered on all these things, I would still call the Z Fold 3 a refinement of Z Fold 2. Not a major overhaul and drastic redesign like we saw from the original Fold to the Z Fold 2. Nevertheless, it does look like an amazing device. A lot of people will be upgrading to it. Personally, I've pre-ordered one. I'm doing a couple trade-ins. I'm getting an excellent deal on it. You know, Samsung's great at deals to get us to get their devices. However, don't know if I'm going to be keeping it. I don't think that the changes are drastic enough to make me change from the Z Fold 2 to Z Fold 3 or to make it my daily driver for next year. But I got one coming on August 27th like most of us, and I'll be reviewing it, unboxing it, telling you guys all about it. So stay tuned for that video. Now, our biggest disappointments about this device were the cameras in almost every regards. The back cameras, triple camera system, all 12 megapixels, no crazy apertures, no crazy 8K resolution, no 100x zoom, not even a 30x zoom, nothing really. I mean, honestly, these cameras look like they're from the Galaxy S20 from like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I mean, nothing impressive there. The under-display camera is really impressive in an engineering's point of view. It's great that Samsung was able to achieve that technology. Great that we have this in our devices today. Whoop-de-doo. However, if you look at some of the camera samples that we saw from MKBHD, some of the other reviewers, it's pretty bad. Like, look at those photos. I didn't believe it was from any 2021 flagship, regardless of the price of it. It looked like it was from 2012 Android device. It didn't look all that great. Back cameras, they look fine compared to stuff from 2 years ago. Now they're kind of subpar. But then again, who's buying the phone or any foldable for that matter for the cameras. No, we're buying it for the productivity, the cool factor, the small phone, and the small tablet at the same time. All that stuff. And in those regards, the Z Fold 3 delivers and improves on everything that the Z Fold 2 set for us last year. So now that we've talked about the bigger of the two phones, the Z Fold 3, the one intended for more pros and more pro users, more pro functionality, more pro features, let's talk about the more consumer device, the Z Flip 3. Now, the Z Fold 3 did change how myself and many others in the tech community saw foldables. It added durability, the better hinge, the better displays, everything. It is changing foldables. Now, the Flip 3 does not change how I feel about the Flip, the original Z Flip. From day one, and this still sounds true today, the Z Flip is kind of a pointless device. It's super cool, super nostalgia filled. A lot of people love it, I get that, but hear me out for a second, techies. So, the Fold is a small phone, very one-handed, comfortable to hold in one hand when you're using a one-handed phone. When you use a small tablet, it unfolds with a small tablet. So you can fit an 8-inch display, almost 8-inch display, in your pocket. What does the Z Flip accomplish? Well, let that sink in for a second. Absolutely nothing. The Z Flip unfolds into a normal sized screen. It's a little bit narrower than most phones, 6.7 inches. So imagine a Galaxy S21 Ultra's display, but a little bit narrower. But it just folds up in your pocket, and when it's in there, it feels like you have two phones in there, just not very tall ones, short ones. It accomplishes nothing. Now, I hate to sound like a cynic, but it really is what it is. The Z Flip accomplishes nothing. It's bought because it's cool, because it reminds people of older flip phones. If the outer screen was a full, usable square display that I could actually use when the phone is closed, that would change how I see the Z Flip. But they made the Z Flip screen on the outside a little bit bigger. Now, instead of just showing the time, it can show weather, some notifications. You can answer a phone call from it. Whoopsie-doo. It doesn't change the Flip. It doesn't accomplish anything. To me, the Z Flip is no more than a cool toy. That's all. New form factor. It's nostalgic. It's cool. It's fun. Yeah. Not revolutionary. Not the future of foldables. Not the future of phones. Doesn't do anything for us. And with Z Flip 3, what have they changed? Same 5G. Upgraded cameras. Only dual camera, not triple camera. Add water resistance, just like the Z Fold 3. Better hinge. They still got the crease there. It doesn't do anything for us. However, by far the biggest and most significant and most revolutionary feature and change in a Z Flip 3 is the pricing. Now, you don't often hear the pricing of a product be listed as one of its features. However, one of the biggest complaints about foldables and keeping them from becoming mainstream is the pricing. Last year's Z Flip started at $1,400, the Fold at $2,000. Now we have the Fold 3 at $1,800, a little bit better, but with the multiple trade-ins and the credits and everything, you can get it for a couple $100. Carrier financing, carrier trade-ins and BOGOs and whatnot. That's not a big deal, but definitely better than last year. But the Z Flip 3 is $1,000. And as of right now, I'm looking at carrier offers from T-Mobile and AT&T, giving it for free, not for new customers only, both existing customers trading in older phones that you can even buy refurbished for $100 or $200 can be traded in for a free Z Flip 3. That goes back to what I've been talking about on Twitter a lot. By the way, you should be following me on Twitter to keep up with all this stuff. The Samsung is desperate to sell their phones. They're not selling many phones. Every quarter after quarter for the last couple of years, they're making more money from building parts for other OEMs' devices rather than selling their own devices. They are desperate for people to buy these phones, even if they're going to sell them at a loss. They're giving carriers and employees and salesmen huge incentives, kickbacks, rewards, prizes, and bonuses just to sell these phones. That's evident by these carrier deals. When have you ever seen such a premium, cool device for carriers offering it for free? Even with bill credits, yes, that's still called a free phone, was trading in a 3 or 4 year old phone. That's never been done before. And it just goes to show how much the Samsung wants to, first of all, sell many phones, of course, and make money. Of course, that's the goal of every business. But to put these in the hands of every consumer. They want people who've never had a Samsung device before to try this. Maybe people who've never had an Android device who want to try this. They want to make this to be the phone that gets people in the Samsung ecosystem. And just like we had a Samsung executive just a few weeks talk about how he wants to make foldables mainstream, and they said that Samsung promises to make them mainstream. The Z Fold 3 isn't making them mainstream. It's making them a little bit closer to mainstream, but the Z Flip is what's going to make them mainstream, put them in consumers' hands. The only significant upgrade in the Z Flip 3, and I will reiterate this multiple times throughout this video, throughout the next year of the life of this phone, that the biggest feature of the Z Flip 3 is the price. That's all. No one's buying this phone for the crease. No one's buying it for the battery life. No one's buying it for durability. No one's buying it for the camera quality. No one's buying it for 5 years of updates from Android. No. People are buying this for A, the nostalgia factor, B, the cool factor, and those two alone can't sell devices, so they need to see the pricing. The pricing is what's going to get this in people's hands.